investment groups. We are an agricultural program. So from 1999, we were distributing inputs like fertilizers, chemicals, seeds, and capacity building. We were supplying the inputs, and to avoid sowing the seeds of dependency syndrome, the support came in the form of a loan. And you are giving a loan to a woman who does not have decision-making power. What does that do? In most of the cases, you find that women became conduits through which men received loans for which they didn't have any obligation to pay. So what would happen was men would abuse the loan. Then this left the woman, because she's the one whose name is appearing in the loan book of Fachig. Then she has got to find ways of raising the repayment. And in most of the cases, it also increased work, because they would now resort to selling their labor. After they do the household chores, the field work of weeding and productive work, they would still sneak and go to somebody in the neighborhood who had the extra cash to pay for extra labor. Then they sell their labor and they would pay back to Fachig. The repayment rates were very impressive. Women, they don't want to default. Why? Because if they defaulted, then they would have pledged something to their group, because they were using social collateral, group collateral, and the group would resort to that item. But like I said before, women were not owners of meaningful assets. They owned very, very small, low-valued assets like chickens. And so what it meant was the group would actually sell off a big asset which the woman did not own, and that obviously would cause a lot of conflict in the home. So instead of development, those loans and the inputs were counterproductive in a way. Girls, the gender action learning system, it addresses those unequal division of labor, unequal decision-making power, unequal control of assets. Those are addressed by girls. And to us, we found it a very, very effective tool of reorganizing the productive system. When you want to transform from any inefficient subsistence mode of production to a commercial mode of production, you need to remove the gender inequalities.
X-male, I've got X-male and X-male in the ring, 427 kgs. I've got 430 to start with. 430, ladies and gentlemen, 430 in the ring. 430, 430, 430, 430. Anyone to take up the bids? 430, ladies and gentlemen, 430. 430, 440, 440, 440, 440, 440. Any further bids? 440. In the ring 440, 460, 465, 470, 470, 470, 470, 470.
Initially, when we started the project, some of the farmers were saying, oh, we do not have anything. We are poor. But when we said, okay, look around, what is it that you do on a daily basis? We found that a lot of them have cattle, some as many as 40 head of cattle, but they were not valuing the assets that they actually have. They would just leave their animals to roam and would not look after them. But now, having realized the value that the assets that they have, they are now doing cattle pen fattening and really linking what they do on a day-to-day basis to the visions that they've developed as a family.
My input suppliers, clean up our production, bulking and collection, their processing, wholesale and retail. For your automatic context. Saka context edu, tine uyumfananizo edu, uchimilila tika ni magarwe, koze icha mabylaws, zimtemu. Toba taya kama hectares eba.
Saka paine mpicho munhu ari kutina munhu kuenda unotengesa kunoku saka kumwe vanodzitengesera ndipo
on the value chain maps, you note that they have arrows in two colors. There are black arrows and red arrows. The red arrow is indicating where women are participating and what input they are actually giving within the livestock production. So you find that most of the women's participation is ending in terms of looking after the cattle and heading the cattle. But from the time the cattle are being sold, you have noticed that on the map that there is very little participation of women beyond the crop.
During our girls' workshops, as Fachig would introduce different stakeholders like the LPD, like the veterinary, those involved in cattle production. Now, when they would be at the workshop, they would be informing farmers on the best things, the best practice that they can do with their cattle.
We were having problems in mobilizing farmers, even to train them. As they were expecting to be given something, but after the introduction of girls, people now know their value in life, what they have to do to improve themselves. More farmers are coming to us. We are also having pressure from them. They want to be trained in this aspect, they want to be trained in this aspect because they now know themselves what are they capable of doing. So the girls program is managed, has made our job easier, so that farmers are now understand the importance of our involvement in the improvement of their animals, and also the ratios of males and females. I think there are more females coming into these projects, because before only males were running these cattle projects, but now we have female counterparts who are running these projects.
Aiwa, ini chirongwa chakaya zvakanaka ichi. Nokuti shuwa zveshe zvataona baba izvinda vangotengesa nyangwe vasina vangogona kupfuma kutengesa makuseni kuti momboenda teitengesa ivo tondiudza vatotengesa ndisipo. Asi iko zvino takwanisa kuronga kuti saka mari yacho muri kuda tiri pamwe chete kuti mari iyi toda kuishandisa chii, totengesa mombe yedu tonongedzana kuti ndeipi ingaita kubuda muna toya tonongedzana tiri pamwe chete padanga totengesa toburitsa chinangwa chedu chatiri kuda kuburitsa tiri pamwe chete semhuri. Nokuti iko zvine zvibaba ndiri kuona kuti hazvinenge zvairuka tsvimbe inenge yarara. Nokuti kare kare makaucha yedu yaiti kana usina murume achinge afa mombe dzese dzosara dzitorwa nehama dzemurume. inini nevana ndosara ndichitambura. Saka izvinezvi kana mombe ndane baba ndisirawo mombe mukadhi rangu ndane kadhi redu tiri pamwe chete, hama dzemurume hadzikwanisi kunditorera mombe idzodzo, tinokwanisa kuzoriritira mhuri yangu ine ndasiyiwa naye nemurume wangu tichitengesa mombe idzodzo, budikidza nemombe idzodzo.
Part of the value chain analysis pointed to the fact that there was lack of knowledge amongst the farmers. So what we did was to select farmer representatives to go on a market research exercise. They did that, and today they will actually report back what the abattoirs expect the quality of the cattle should be, and what they can also offer in terms of improving that quality of cattle. They have a lot of information, and that information will now be fed into the value chains because it was missing that information. Now when they put it into the value chain analysis, we'll see where the real gaps are. Then they can actually set an agenda on real issues affecting the cattle value chain.
Iyo gausi yakauya nechidzidzo chakanaka kudai hazvigoni. Ndopandakatanga kuita plani yokuti ndoita sei kuti ndivakewo imba yakanaka. Ndobva ndachengeta ng'ombe dzangu, ndichisa ng'ombe dzangu ndichipa majanga, ndichifidha ng'ombe. Ndobva ndaona ng'ombe dzangu dzaano utano, ndobva ndatora ng'ombe ndobva ndanotengesa. Ndobva ndatanga kuwana mari yokuti ndiforomese zvitina. Ndobva ndazotsvaka mabhiridhaya kuti ichiuya mundivakirewo, asi ndinoda peteni yeimba yakadai kuti ichisiyanawo neyanga iripo. Saka ndokuzovaka kwandaita ikoko. Kusaka apa kwakuinda neimwe ng'ombe kuti ndigotenga semende igopurasitwa nokuisa denga. Saka ndaida kuti ndipfiririse zviya zvokuita zvechechingi zviya izvi kuti sechingi imbogaravo, ndirege kungogara ndakangobata sekera yokudzura uswa, ndimbochovhawo makore akati kuti ndiri mukati meimba iyo isina kufa, isina kana kupfurunyuka, pamwe chete navazukuru vangu nevana vangu. Imba iyi zveshuwa ndinoona kuti yakutobuda, yakutopera. Saka izvo ndinozvitenda kuburikidza nokuna Mwari anondichengeta zuva nezuva pakati penyika ino nokurarama. Nokuvabereki vangu vakandipa njere dzokuita izvozvizvi. Dene varangoramba vachindichengetedza kuti ndirambe ndichibudira kudarika ipapa. Ndinotofunga zvekutoti kana kutoita chigayo, kana kutotenga moto ndichisibudawo nemota ndichinda kumusangano. Zvinhu izvozvo ndiri kuzvifungidzira kuti dai zvaita pandiri nemhuri yangu.